Hello and welcome to Cartola FC English, the only English content on Cartola you can find. My name is Sean. Let's get into Game Week 12. We will start with a review of last week. 64 points for me. That was about 12 above the average. Not a great week for me. However, it was not too bad. Up to 150 Cartola bucks. Yeah, it was a bit of a weird week coming off the international break, and we had some players that were playing in international matches one day before the game week started. So we were missing some players, Rafael Veiga being one, Piqueras for Palmeiras being one. Ayrton Lucas got some decent minutes for Brazil, so he did not really participate in that Flamengo Red Bull match. We'll get into that. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird week there. Also a weird week with pretty much the unanimous captaincy option, Luis Suarez. There was a report that made world news that he was retiring due to knee pain, and some questions following that report. Is Suarez completely out at Gremio? Is he fine? Is he going to play as usual? Will he have minutes decreased? Things like that. So it was a bit weird, and that did scare me off captaining Luis Suarez. I pulled the captain off him, did keep him in my team, fortunately, because he performed very well, got the nice goal, and almost had an assist that was ruled out for Bitello. If you had Bitello and Captain Suarez, that was unlucky for you. But it was a bit fortunate for Gremio. They had a kind of a questionable second yellow card for America in the first half. You don't really see those given too often. Kind of a soft yellow, a soft second yellow in the first half. That's rarely given. However, they did take advantage, so props to them. Gremio up to third in the table, so they are doing very nice in the table. It's just weird. Suarez, we knew he had knee pain. He doesn't play on artificial turf. However, he's playing like full 90 minutes almost every match that he does play. So it's kind of weird usage that Gremio has had with him this season. But he is a nice option again this week. I did captain Marlon. Marlon, Cruzeiro had that goal against them, I think in the 80th minute. So it was almost a monster haul. But then after that, he got a yellow card and points dropped off quite a bit. Was a bit fortunate. I think he could have been sent off pretty easily. Had a two-footed challenge that was a bit awkward. Could have been a straight red. Wasn't, so that was fortunate for me. Goalkeeper didn't play, so I did pick Rondo for Gremio. He did not play, so that was not great for me. But yeah, I was a bit fortunate. I'll take the week and move on because I didn't have Bitello, and he easily could have had that goal given. Although I think it was an own goal from the start. It was a pretty clear cross, and it was clearly not on target, so I'm not sure why they left it late, but they did. Let's move on to next week. We'll take a look at the matches for next week. We're going to know the lineups for the first match, Atletico Paranaense and Corinthians. Paranaense will have some nice options. We'll talk about those in a bit. For the favorites, the teams above 50% here, Palmeiras at home to Botafogo. That's the match of the week. The top two teams in the league. Palmeiras is at home. Botafogo is in form. So we'll see who comes out on top. But Palmeiras is the favorite there. Fluminense favorited at home to Bahia. Atletico Mineiro away to Fortaleza. Two tough teams there. As well as Sao Paulo away to Cruzeiro. Bragantino coming off that monster game against Flamengo, in which I think they had 36 shots in total, 13 shots on target compared to Flamengo's 0. It was 4-0, but that was a massacre. Absolute rinsing for Bragantino, and they have a nice matchup at home again this week. Flamengo, we'll see if they can bounce back to a really struggling and in turmoil Santos. They'll have a new coach, and they've got fans throwing stuff on the field and stuff. Not good there for Santos. Even though Santos has been great defensively, they just can't score. So Grêmio at home to Curitiba. Grêmio and Bragantino coming off 2 big wins last week, and we'll see if they can keep the momentum off kind of a short layoff. They have Curitiba. Curitiba has been awful so far this season, so Grêmio, a nice team to target. American Mineiro at home to Inter. I'll probably stay away from both those, as well as Vasco at home to Cuiabá. Vasco, 56% chance of winning on here. However, they have lost, I think, 6 straight in the league, so I do not want any part of them. You can see I dropped about 5K places to 31,000 in the National League. 99.3 percentile, still having a great season, and we'll see if we can bounce it back this week. Team attack XG tables in the last 5 matches. The whole league is really struggling to create chances, not doing well offensively. Yeah, the league as a whole, you can see only 4 teams in the green, which means only 4 teams have created above 1.3 XG in the last 5. Yeah, not great. Those 4 teams are Botafogo, the league leaders, Grêmio, Cruzeiro, and Red Bull Bragantino off that nice performance against Flamengo. Those 4 teams are the only teams in the green. You know, Atlético Mineiro is struggling, but they're the 15th in the league. So it's not great. It's not a great sign when Corinthians and Inter are in the top 8. They have been pretty poor the whole season. However, they're in the top 8 in the last 5 matches. No teams are really in form besides those 4 that I mentioned. Palmeiras, maybe still the league favorite to win the league, is in 13th, so they are struggling. Fluminense down in 17th, so tough to really trust those assets. I know Cano is going to be popular this week, but Fluminense has created 0.98 XG on average in the last 5 matches. That's not great. That is not great. Santos bottom, along with Goiás and America. So those teams are not really creating chances. Santos especially, they are struggling. I went with Alberto for Cruzeiro. I did want a piece of the Cruzeiro attack last week. Didn't work out for me. Alberto, I think, got pulled at 60 minutes for Dorado. I think the pick is Bruno Rodriguez. You don't try and get too cute with that. Rodriguez does play a bit deep at times, and he's a bit wide. However, he's probably the most involved in that attack, and he's on penalties and probably going to play the full 90. I don't know if he's missed a minute at all this season. So if you do want a piece of Cruzeiro, Bruno Rodriguez is the pick. Look no further. Team defense, you can see a lot more green, just a sign of pretty much the whole league struggling in attack. And Botafogo, Palmeiras, top 2 tier, 0.7, 0.78, they're doing well. However, they play each other this week, so that'll be interesting to watch. Corinthians in 3rd, Atlético Mineiro in 4th. Those 2 teams are on the road this week. And you can see Flamengo just leaking chances. They've really been picked apart the last 2 weeks. It's not looking good for Flamengo, which is kind of a shame because they do have really good picks attacking-wise in defense. Ayrton Lucas, Wesley even gets forward quite a bit. Pereira has had a brace this season, so Flamengo down in 20th. Here's the attacking XG stats, XG table. Paulinho, 0.70 XGA. He is the top spot, followed by Vitor Roque, 0.59. Luis Suarez up to 0.56. Tied there with Dudu from Palmeiras, 0.56. Chiquinho Suarez down 0.55. This chart does not include penalty data, so Chiquinho Suarez would be much higher, along with Hulk, Bruno Rodriguez as well, and Cano. For this week, Luis Suarez, very high MPV because he scored last week. It's tough to go against him again this week. I wouldn't put too much in it. He's going to be a lock pretty much in every team. Very, very good matchup at home to Curitiba. The only thing is how many minutes he's going to get. based off that retirement report, and it's going to be a short rest. However, Gremio's hot. Coritiba is the worst team in the league. It's got to be Suarez here. Eduardo Sasha for Red Bull Bragantino. They are a hot team as well. And he has a low MPV. So Eduardo Sasha I do like as a pick. They face Goiás, the second worst team defensively in the last 5 matches that we've seen. Only team that's worse was Flamengo. Third spot's pretty wide open. Could go a Palmeiras player. They do face Botafogo, but they are favorited. I do like Vitor Roque. I do like Bruno Rodriguez. And Cano is a nice option as well. I think Cano will be the most popular pick out of those because he plays at home. Bahia is not a pushover, but Cano led the league in scoring last year, so people don't forget about that. Even though this year you can see his XGA is down there at the bottom, 0.37. So not sure who I'm going to go with for that third spot. Midfielders. Rafael Veiga is going to be back this week, and he's going to be back in my team. For the other picks, Cristaldo and Bitello were popular options last week. A lot of people piled on Gremio players. It's going to be the same again this week, and I do like Cristaldo. Should be on penalties. Bitello is, he plays farther forward, but you can see here, even then, Cristaldo's XGA is higher than Bitello's, and this doesn't include Cristaldo's penalties, so I do like him. Lima and Johnny, their XGA is a bit too low for me. Arrascaeta is going to be an interesting pick. Flamengo is in complete chaos mode. Arrascaeta is still a decent pick, so I do like him. Yoran for Atletico Mineiro. Atletico Mineiro faces Fortaleza. Fortaleza is a tough place to play. However, Yoran's XGA stats are, spectacular. 0.75, that's higher than all the midfielders. That's higher than all the attackers. So, really good pick, and he's pretty much due an assist or a goal or maybe 2. MPVs in the negatives. Vitor Bueno, we're going to know if he's going to start, so I do like him as an option for Atletico Paranaense at home. Laterals, you can see 3 Gremio players on here. If you went Cuiabano last week, that was unlucky. He got pulled at halftime. He was playing out of position pretty much as a second striker or a winger. He's a decent pick when he plays. I don't expect him to play, so I'd stay away. Ayrton Lucas plays for the worst defensive team in the league, Flamengo. However, they face the worst attacking team in the league, and Ayrton Lucas does offer an attacking threat, so he's a pick. Marlone's always a pick. Probably going to be in my team again this week. Junior Capixaba for Bragantino is a nice option. However, he has a high MPV, so might stay away from him. For center backs, not a lot of great options this week, to be honest. Gustavo Gomes faces a very strong attacking team, obviously, the number 1 team in the league, Botafogo, but he's probably going to be in my team. He's at home, best attacking threat for the defenders. I like Gustavo Gomes, and yeah, after that, it's really slim pickings for center backs. Goalkeepers, if you went Granda last week, that was bad luck because Breno got the start. Breno's not a bad pick. I don't know. Gremio has started 3 goalkeepers so far this season. I might stay away from them. They're not a great defense anyways. Clayton for Red Bull Bragantino is a nice pick. I would go Perry for Botafogo. Should get a lot of saves this week. However, his MPV is very, very high, so that's the only thing stopping me there. Here's my team as it stands. Vitor Roque, that could change to Dudu or Cano. Luis Suarez, captain. Eduardo Sasha for Bragantino. Cristaldo for Gremio. Rafael Veiga. And Vitor Bueno. So I have double Paranaense attack as it stands. Ayrton Lucas, that could change to Capixaba. Gustavo Gomes and Luan. Luan is a doubt to play. Marlon and the Red Bull Technico, the Red Bull manager, and the Red Bull goalkeeper. So that is my team. It costs $140. That's all for this week. Give it a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.